Here's a question. Are Garba organizers who are restricting invitations only to Hindus for participating in religious festivities guilty of bringing in a kind of segregation or apartheid? It's a fundamental question. On the face of it, this is a pretty straightforward question with a pretty straightforward answer. Many will say that the Garba, which refers to the womb, is a form of religious devotion as a tribute to goddess Durga, and as such, Hindus have absolute rights under Article 25 of the Constitution to invite who they please. But viewers, in the light of gut-wrenching visuals of Muslim attendees being beaten up by Bajrang Dal or other allied Hindu groups, the answer has become much more complicated, or that much more complicated. Hindus say they are not only justified in keeping Muslims out, and I'm not talking about all Hindus, viewers here, I'm talking about certain groups who are defending their actions. And these groups say they're also within their right to punish Muslim youth if they deliberately enter the Garba pandals to eve tease Hindu women or gawk or engage in other forms of undesirable activities. Some have even asked, why do Muslims that have no respect for other religions want to attend a religious event like the Garba? Others, in a bid to draw false equivalences, have come out and said, viewers, that the violence is justified because when Hindu groups take processions through areas where Muslims might be in larger numbers or outside of mosques on their days of festivities, then they are pelted with stones. They're attacked. Now, viewers, listen to some of these reactions that have been coming in. Listen in.
और मैं कहती हूँ आइडेंटिटी चेक भी किया जाए और मुस्लिम समुदाय के लोगों को वहाँ पर जाने ना दिया जाए। हम हमारी पूजा पद्धति को शुद्ध रखना चाहते हैं, करना चाहते हैं।
मैंने उस समय प्रार्थना भी कर ली थी कि माँ की आराधना करना है तो कोई भी धर्म के लोग कर सकते हैं, अलग से करें।
देखिए, बहुत ज़रूरी है ये सब चीज़ें, और यदि असामाजिक तत्व आकर वहाँ का वातावरण, धार्मिक वातावरण को अगर गंदा करते हैं तो मैं समझता हूँ इसके लिए आयोजकों को उसकी चिंता करना चाहिए।
लव जिहाद एक बड़ी मुसीबत था राष्ट्र की, इसीलिए तो उस पर कानून हमें बनाना पड़ा। हम लोगों ने ये आग्रह किया है कि किसी भी गरबा पंडाल में बिना आईडी के किसी को प्रवेश नहीं मिले, और कोई दूसरे लोग भी आना चाहते हैं तो वो अपनी पत्नी, माँ, बेटी साथ लेकर आए।
Now, viewers, while some of these ministers from the BJP, MPs from the BJP or other Hindu groups are invoking their constitutional right to freely practice and profess their faith, there can be no excuse to take the law into their hands and dispense vigilante justice. There can just be no excuse. You have a problem, you think someone there has crashed the event, has behaved inappropriately, call the police, hand over the youth, hand over the people to the police. Law and order. You cannot dispense justice and then attempt a post-rationalization. Viewers, let's ask the larger question though. As we set that one Lakshman Rekha, that you cannot resort to violence, the fundamental question is, when restrictions are being imposed, is this actually fostering a feeling of segregation, apartheid, or are the Hindus only doing what their constitution allows them to do under various articles? That's the fundamental question. And let's ask some of these questions, viewers, without prejudice to anyone. I want to first begin with Rahul Easwar. Rahul Easwar, I want you to pay attention to certain facts that have been drawn to my attention today in the course of our research. And viewers, these are hard facts, well established. You can quote them. You can even cross-reference them. It's a well-known fact that non-Muslims can't travel to Mecca. Remember, viewers, we are talking about the Garba. This is not a cultural event. This is a religious event. That's what we're told. Dress codes are routinely imposed at gurdwaras and mosques and even at temples. The Eidgah Maidan in Karnataka in Hubli was off limits to an entire community desirous of holding Ganesh Chaturthi celebrations. That matter even went to court. It was resolved in favor of those who maintained or managed the Eidgah. Agyaris can impose restrictions on the entry of non-Parsis. Procedure of conducting rituals is in the exclusive preserve of the Devasthanam. This has been said by the Supreme Court in Sarika versus Sri Mahakaleshwar Mandir Committee case in 2018. I think you yourself, Rahul Easwar, have championed the rights of the deity in the Sabrimala matter, saying that the right to pray cannot be legislated upon in any which way. Kerala High Court has rejected third-party bid calling for the entry of KJ Yesudas into the Guruvayur temple also in 2010. Now, here are some facts, viewers. Now, you can say that these facts, on the face of it, promote segregation or apartheid, but that is the Constitution. It allows you to observe your rituals, your prayers, and your practices. So, first of all, Rahul Easwar, answer to the charge that this is segregation by another means. This is the Hindu right discriminating against Muslim brothers.
Okay, Rahul ShivShankar, just three submissions. One, I'm a pluralist, I'm a Gandhian. I believe we should have inclusion, we should celebrate our diversity, and even in Sabrimala we have we have an Islamic shrine inside Sabrimala also enrooted where we celebrate our diversity. So India as a civilization has been always pluralistic and harmoniously pluralistic. Second point, but there are some nuances to it, or even though the broader principle is we all agree, the nuance is that if it is a public function, yes, there are reasonable, we cannot say that somebody cannot enter and can enter. But if it is a private function happening, as you rightly pointed out, there are some religious functions, ritualistic functions. So rather than the cultural aspect, the religious aspect is being faithfully observed by many people. After the debate last time, I had a word with many people in Gujarat where they find it a bit not comfortable for people who doesn't believe in the deity or Mata Durga, being there only for the festivities and the cultural aspect. So there are natural inhibition on the part of people. So their sensitivity should be respected. For example, if I'm a devotee, if I'm organizing a particular function and Mata's deity has a particular religious significance, those people who are not observant of the rituals, customs, traditions, if they are coming only for the festivity part, as a religiously devout person, I may find it not comfortable. So you cannot call me a segregationist just because of that. So there are nuances, there are varied viewpoints in it. We should be mindful and respectful. Yes, and third point, as you rightly and brilliantly said, please, it brings shame to us Hindus when somebody is taking law to their own hands, especially on the on the occasions of Gandhi Jayanti where our Muslim brothers are being beaten up. It paints India bad in the world. We fall from our stature of Vishwaguru when such violences happen. That is extremely painful and brings shames to Hindus and Hindustan and India. So please remember that violence is absolutely abhorrible. At the same point of time, if there are some spiritually observant people who are not comfortable with people who are not faithful, spiritually and religiously faithful, their sentiments should be respected because they are private functions, and under Article 25 and 26, these private functions have their own sanctity. And just one last line, just like in Sabrimala or any other temple, Article 25 and 26 gives us right to observe one particular thing, and these are private spaces. These are not public parks. These are not picnic spots. So their sentiments should be respected, and there are many people who are uncomfortable with people who are not observant. So let us respect them, but as a matter of principle, yes, we should definitely include anyone, no violence, but there are some people who are uncomfortable. Let us respect them.
Okay, let's open this further. Let me bring in Tanveer Ahmed, national spokesperson of the JDS first. Mr. Ahmed, can it be denied that Garba celebrations are a religious practice? That's my first open-ended question to you, sir.
Absolutely no. Garba is a religious function which is celebrated here in India. And recently in Asian Games, I think Garba was celebrated and all the Muslim athletes were dancing. And Chris Gayle was also dancing in one of the function. And when Chris Gayle can really enter, as an Indian, it is an Indian festival I've been celebrating for a very long time. I've been a chief guest for Garba festival for last 3 years. Before that, I used to go. But coming right now, few fringe elements really want to make this as a political issue or a religious issue. Coming out with a diktat that Muslims or a particular community is not allowed is absolutely on an international platform shameful. But if some individuals are organizing and saying that a particular community, it is their right. But what is the picture which we are portraying across the globe, that India is so intolerant towards Indians? I mean, Rahul, I understand Article 21, 25, which you have really stated, but the religion which speaks about Sarve Jano Sukhino Bhavatu, the religion which says Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, and today you are coming and dividing this in the name of religion just because of some fringe elements want to divide on political angle. Come on, I don't think this was an India which Bapu dreamt, and this is not the India which you and I want for to give it to our kids. On Eid, every Eid, more than 500 to 700 Hindus do come to my house and celebrate along with me. And this is what an India which I thought this is what an India I want to give it to my children and grandchildren, not the fringe which they are trying to create India on divisiveness.
Okay. Don't mainstream a fringe obsession, Ratan Sharda, says Tanveer Ahmed, national spokesperson of the JDS. Why are we so insecure about our faith? Why do we believe that a few Muslims, etc., are in any way going to undermine our religious festivities? That's the open-ended question, and I want to then make a small comment based on some facts. Mr. Ratan Sharda, please respond.
First of all, we agree it's a religion.
Now, why should anybody who doesn't believe in that religion should come to the religious program? You don't believe in idol worship. Idol worship is haram. You break idols. Music is haram, dancing is haram. So people for whom these are haram, why should they come to Garba? Thirdly, if Eidgah could not celebrate Ganpati festival, how was the Eidgah Maidan in
Sir, there is a difference between Taliban Islam and Indian Islam, sir. There
One second, sir.
Taliban Islam and Indian
Let's
Islam.
Let's not speak over each other. You can respond to him.
Talk about Taliban Islam.
Okay, 1 second.
No.
Tanveer Ahmed, 1 second, please.
That is the viewpoint of Taliban Islam. That is not the viewpoint of Tanveer Ahmed.
Yes, you can respond to him. Let him finish. He never interrupted you. He may not have thought that your voice was music to his ears, but he still don't interrupt you. Please, let him finish. You can respond to him. I'll have everyone respond. No problems. Yes, Mr. Ratan Sharda.
I did not call Tanveer Ahmed Talibani. I said generally what is the Muslim view. It is written in their hadith in Quran. I don't want to quote because then he will say who are you to quote it. But people know that it is not allowed. Even Sufis are not considered pure Islam as far as hardcore Islam is concerned. If you cannot have Eidgah Maidan celebrate Ganpati because that is some kind of disrupting the sanctity of that place, then I believe you can go there. And why should a person go there with a false identity? If somebody says, okay, I worship Durga, I have equal respect for Durga, he goes and worships Durga and goes for Garba, no problem. Whether it's Christian, Muslim, Islam, anybody. But if you say that idol worship is haram, if you say that music and dance is not allowed, then you come there to have fun. Like I said, okay, come with a family. If it is a cultural function, why these boys are alone there? Any reason for that? And trying to tag Hindus with good boy image and not to take any action. Are they doing Sartan Se Juda? They are not. They are simply a little bit upset And if police is there, they would hand those people to police. So this falsehood of typically, creating false identity, going to enjoy there when you don't believe in a single thing. There are a person who abused Hindu gods, who ridiculed Hindu gods and goes for Garba. Should you allow it? There is a lady who said in Shaheen Bagh that abhi achhi tarah raho, jab aapka raaj aayega to aap jo marji karo, or something like that. That lady wants to go to celebrate Garba on what grounds? In Shaheen Bagh, people who actually insulted Hindus putting up abusive posters, should they go to the Garba? So it is not Garba pure. I am saying Navratri Garba. If I go to a hall in my society, if I celebrate Garba just for the heck of it, for enjoying, everybody is welcome. But if you go to pandal, there is Devi Puja, either you agree that you give respect to all the religion. Do Muslims do that? Do they agree that all gods are equal, all religions are equal? Sorry, it's not said so. It is very clearly mentioned. So on that ground, let them enjoy their festivity. Let them enjoy my festivity. Where our hearts meet, we are ready to go to each other's homes. Do go. I allow Namaaz in my home, but will a Muslim allow Bhajan in his home? I allow Muslims to have Namaaz in my temple. Would they allow me to have Bhajan in their mosque? They will not allow. So to say one person does it is fine, other person does not fine, I don't understand this hypocrisy at all.
Okay. Very quickly, Tanveer Ahmed, you wanted to respond. You get the first right to respond. I just want to point out a couple of things, viewers. In the course of this debate, you will hear unity in diversity. You will hear phrases which are separate but equal. Now, if the principle of separate but equal were to be adhered to in letter and spirit, viewers, then we would have no problems. But India is a country where the majority community, which is obviously made up of a majority of Hindus, they are not allowed, for example, to administer their own temples. The state does so. Tens of thousands of temples come under state jurisdiction. This is not true of other faiths. So the very statement, separate but equal, falls flat by just quoting this one example. We have a Hindu code bill. We have a Hindu code bill likewise for the Christians, and these are subject to judicial scrutiny as they have been clearly codified, but for the Muslim community, largely exempted. In fact, some people say only on a couple of issues, largely. Be it over the marriageable age of a woman, or how many times a man is allowed to marry, etc., etc. A man is allowed to marry, etc., etc. So, viewers, here this principle of separate but equal is clearly abused. The Supreme Court also intervenes in the Sabrimala matter, as we referred to right at the top of this debate. Rahul Easwar was one of those who was very upset. Of course, the matter is now in review. Once again, Hindu religious practices in just one temple was something that invited the Supreme Court's intervention. The question is, if Muslim attendees want to enter Garba pandals and they are being denied entry, they can also approach the courts and see whether their plea under Article 14 or 15 can be sustained, Article 25 being exercised by the Hindu community. But a community organizing a Garba event has a right to regulate entry. Correct. That, unfortunately, whether we like it or not, is a principle and can be applied in letter and spirit, Mr. Ahmed. So how do you say that today the Hindus are becoming intolerant, etc.? They're only exercising what is their right. And if you don't believe in either their gods, either in idol worship or religious Hindu devotional songs, I mean, there are some Muslims that even have a problem with chanting Ram Naam Rasapi Jai, or even, for that matter, Ishwar Allah Tero Naam, or for that matter, Vande Mataram, then the Hindu community can say, well, if you are not believers, then why come? What is the compulsion bringing you here?
Rahul, as you and I speak, my daughter Sakina and Iman, along with their mother, are there in a pandal. They are actually gone for a Garba festival. One. And second thing, yes, what Mr. Ratan Sharda is saying is absolutely right. And the Muslim community is contemplating on it. Today in Bangalore, we have started a program called Masjid Darshan, where on every Friday, Saturday and Sunday we invite our Hindu brothers to come to the top mosques of Bangalore, come and visit us and be the part of the celebration and enjoy and see what does Islam speak about, how can we really build an India together. When these people are, Ratan Sharda ji, I don't know about the masjid part, but if you want to do bhajan at my house, you're more than welcome. Please come with your mandali. I would provide food and everything, whatever possible, for you to do bhajan at my house. Definitely, that is.
Agree.
I would allow you.
I am talking community level, not individual. Community level, what is the strategy? What a wonderful start. I really agree with you.
As a community level, we have taken an initiative.
Yeah, take another step. I will welcome that.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, one second. Let me bring in
Rahul. I think somewhere we have to really meet our hearts.
Okay, look, that's the fundamental point. Sriraj Nair, national spokesperson of the VHP, it's not really about the law. It's about, at the end of the day, the spirit also. Spirit of brotherhood, tolerance, etc. Allow everybody from a different community, says Tanveer Ahmed. What's the problem? How would you like to respond to him? And Tehseen, please respond to Mr. Nair right after. Yes.
See, Rahul, I have been on your channel. This is my third consecutive day, and I've been saying the same thing. The Garba pandals or the Bhajan activists or the cadres, if they are doing something right now, it is based on the past experiences. Now you heard, you played what Honorable Home Minister of Madhya Pradesh said, what Mr. Kailash said, and what that Honorable Lady Minister said. See, why they want to come alone, and why are they not accompanying their sisters, daughters or mothers? And there is a malified intentions. Why again and again we also repeat, when they don't believe in idol worship, when they say that is haram, the Buddha parasti is haram, when music is haram. Devman had issued a fatwa about music and dance as haram. Rahul is sitting here, a cleric in Kerala, Mujahid Balushari, he said music is haram and that is the dirtiest thing on this planet. So all these clerics have been issuing fatwas, and why they want to enter our Garba pandal with malified intentions and with fake and that too with a fake identity. So the Bajrang Dal activists will do their job. We don't want these Muslims to commit shirk. Let them follow the Islam and not according to their own convenience. If they want to follow Islam according to properly and not according to their own convenience. We don't want them to commit shirk. We don't want them to come in our pandals. And Garba, again, Navratri is not a cultural festival. It is a religious festival. I have lived in Gujarat. I have lived in Karnavati, Ahmedabad for nearly 18 years. And I can say, since my childhood I have been seeing, before Garba there is Aarti, when the Garba is over there is Aarti. So this is a purely an out and out religious festival. Muslims with malified interests,
okay, but Mr. Nair,
and a fake identity.
Mr. Nair, quick question to you.
Not allow at any cost.
Okay.
And Bajrang Dal
Okay, no, one second.
They are asking for it.
One second. Lower his fader. Listen, Mr. Nair, don't get so excited. Calm down.
No, not the question.
No, one second. Let me finish. I never interrupted you. Let me finish. Don't shout. Don't scream. No, put it down. I'm not going to allow you, Mr. Nair, to try here and condone violence. Okay? You can go on Twitter and you can get into a twist about it, but there can be no one condoning violence. I want to ask, today the governments of the state of Madhya Pradesh, etc., where violence has taken place, as to why there has been no arrest. At least not to my knowledge, viewers. So don't let Mr. Nair tonight justify violence. Because people like Mr. Nair and other reactionaries on the other side are spoiling or itching for some kind of conflagration, and that will not be allowed. They are nobody to police anything. They are nobody. And I hope that Ratanji and Rahul Easwar, we are agreed on at least that. Mr. Sharda, that there can be no, extrajudicial forces, etc., trying to, impose the law of the land. I hope, Mr. Sharda, we are agreed on that, because otherwise none of us will have any leg to stand on to say that those who are today calling for Sartan se Juda are saying something illegal. If you go down that route, you abandon any and every pretense of seeking justice. Am I wrong, Mr. Ratan Sharda? Isn't Mr. Nair being slightly today irresponsible? Straight question.
I wouldn't call it irresponsible. I would say that, okay, they should be pushed out. A slap out doesn't make it Sartan se Juda. They take out, they go to the police, and he goes to the police. But if you think that security guards standing there would be quiet and not take any action, that would also be not true.
No, what kind of action?
Why come with a false identity?
What kind of action, Ratan Sharda, do you want to contemplate?
Yeah, they have been taken out. They have been taken out, right?
Taken out
you
where?
Say, okay, Bhajan, you should say that to the police.
Yeah, that's
so
fine. You can hand over somebody to the police. You can hand over somebody to the police. But Ratan Sharda, I hope you are not here suggesting that immediate on the spot violent justice should be dispensed. I hope that...
I am saying you can't have the same hyper anger against the people who are trying to take the people out of the pandal as what people call Sartan se Juda justify on the TV debates. In the name of saying that they've been insulted. That's all I'm saying.
That's fine. You can say that, but I hope you're agreed on the point that no one can beat up anybody physically.
Violence.
Right? I hope that there is some agreement there,
no
Mr. Sharda.
Yeah.
I am not going the Gandhian path. I am saying we should be restrained. That's all I'm saying.
We should be restrained. Fair enough. If that means just handing over somebody to the police, that's fine. But there will be no violence. That can't happen. No civilized society can allow for that. Rahul Easwar, very quickly.
Just one line. See, non-violence is non-negotiable in any modern democracy. And please remember, India can be a Vishwaguru when we go down the path of Gandhian line. Our PM is inaugurating temples even in official Muslim nations. We are inaugurating, Modi ji inaugurated a temple there. This is happening in a week when Pujaniya Sarsang Chalak reached out to a mosque. He went to a madrasa. He was reassuring our Muslim community. So a bit more harmonious line will be there. I respect Nair ji immensely. He knows. I studied in IIM Ahmedabad. I know the religious significance there. But at the same point of time, I believe we should take a more harmonious path. Otherwise, it will be unnecessarily confrontational.
Okay.
When conciliation is possible, why have confrontation?
Okay. Tehseen Punawala, let's go beyond this and ask a larger question. I'm asking you this question. It's an important one. Now that we've all established, I don't think there's anybody here that has any doubts about the fact that the Garba is a religious festival. It's a religious observance. If that is the case, can Hindu groups who have decided to hold a Garba be made to accept pressure from groups such as you or others, rights activists, whatever, to enforce an inclusivity for all religious denominations? Can that be enforced? Because that's a very slippery slope. Tomorrow, people will cite morality and they will say that, look, in the spirit, in the essence, women of the Muslim faith must get an equal inheritance. They must also not be forced into being married off at a young age. They should be married only at 18, etc. Because that is what morality preaches, and anything else is Talibani. That could be said. I'm just saying. So, can there be anyone forced into being inclusive, typing up invites for everybody, and not restricting who they want to invite?
So, thank you for having me on the show. I'm going to give you two sets of answers. One is a religious answer, one is a legal answer. The religious answer first, and Rahul Easwar knows I supported him when it came to Lord Ayyappa in the Sabarimala case, and I was completely backing him on that. First of all, stop this stereotyping Muslims. Muslims are a very, 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 as Tanveer rightly said, diverse religion. It's extremely diverse. What's unfortunately happened in our country is there's a stereotyping of Muslims, and that's not true. My mom, who's a practicing Muslim, in her Jamaat Khana, in her mosque, there is Dandiya and Garba. During Diwali, there is lights put up. So please, and women can wear what they want in mosque, not just you may say one sect, in every sect. I'm talking about the Srinagar mosque. There is no stereotyping. So this stereotyping that a bunch of people who tend to do, and I'm saying this even from the Muslim side, to polarize this country, thereby helping a political party benefit, must stop. Muslims are a very diverse religion. So first, stop this homogeneity of Muslim religion. It's not homogeneous. It's a very hetero religion. Number two, as so far if there's a puja in a temple, then you have a right to only restrict who you want to come to that temple. That I will not get into. However, if the same Garba or Dandiya, as I've seen since my childhood, is happening at a public ground or at a club or at a leisure place, at the film city, for example, here downstairs, how do you stop people based on religion? You're simply not allowed to, because the Constitution of India does not allow you to. Third point to it. Now let's come to the legal part of it. The BJP spokesperson, the Bhajan spokesperson said two very important things. He said people have fake identities. Either these fake identities are government identities, which would have been a driving license or a Aadhaar. How is the government giving people fake identities? If they are fake identities, then let me take his word for it. I am quoting Times of India. There is no FIR registered for somebody having a fake identity. So why are you doing vigilante justice?
No,
where is the FIR?
No, there's no time for vigilante justice.
Exactly.
So that's been.
So
let's come back to the main.
Why is there no FIR justice?
Don't raise your voice. Tessin, 1 minute, please.
Now let's come to the fourth point.
I asked you a very simple question, and that question was: see, no one here is trying to typecast anybody. If anyone,
let me
finish, please.
Please allow me. When you say that Muslims don't allow music, you've not studied the religion. Music is essential. It's very much a part of Islam.
One second. One second. There are a large number of Muslims.
And there are a large number of Hindus.
Precisely.
For example, the Hindu Mahasabha said recently women should not wear jeans. Does that mean Hindus are fundamentalists? They're not.
No,
they're very progressive people.
So that's what I'm trying to tell you. We are talking here about also exceptions. There may be many Garbas where the right to entry is not restricted, but there are some who are invoking that right to. Let me finish, please.
Sure.
No. Actually, I checked with a lawyer, and let me also bring in Namit Saxena, who's an advocate. Namit Saxena, if supposing, let's take a larger example here. If supposing you are deciding that you want to book a marriage hall, which is on government land, maybe it is an MCD marriage hall, and you decide that I will only have X type of guests at my wedding. Are you allowed to do so, Mr. Saxena, under the law, even though it's public land, technically? And
yes.
And
if it's a banquet hall,
and even if a Garba festivity is held on public land, so to speak, or a community hall, for instance, or even a stadium, can you impose restrictions on who attends?
Yes. See, whosoever organizes that function will have a right to regulate entry or exit. So this is how the law. But let me put the facts in a very small perspective, and I'll apply law to it thereafter. See, the facts in this case at hand today are very simple. Community A organizes a religious function. This is not a pub or a disco. This is for that community only. Few members of some other community enter, your gates crash into that particular function. Few members of community A get hold of them. They say, please go out. They resist or whatever, they give fake identities, or they impersonate themselves to be of that community A. They get hold of him and they gave it to the police to investigate thereafter. This is what has largely happened.
Why isn't
he didn't interrupt you, please. He didn't interrupt you. He's waited his turn. No, one second.
But an FIR should be filed on fake identity. That's not filed. It's a lie.
Mr. Poonawala, please. I will allow you. We've all waited our turn. Please.
Because
one second, please. No, listen. You are always invoking your high station, your privilege. Don't do that, please. There are other people who are much more modest and humble, and let them have their say.
I'm as humble.
No, please. You're not. You're intolerant right now. You can ask that question.
It's a criminal offense.
You can raise your hand and ask that question. Is Rahul Easwar jumping out of the frame? Is Ratan Sharda jumping out of the frame? Is Nair jumping out of the frame?
If we can answer that question first,
one second. Is Tanveer Ahmed?
Without that question being answered, everything is
rhetoric. Who are you to dictate the pace of this debate? Calm down. This is a very serious issue. Very serious issue, viewers. We can't have professional hecklers sitting and abusing their position. Yes, sir, you come from a very exalted, setup. It's fine. Let somebody else have their say. They don't enjoy those privileges. So let's not make it like that, please.
This is not about my privileges.
You are completely behaving like somebody who will jump in and speak whenever
no,
they
I'm
want
just
to.
asking, where is the FIR
I've stopped you 3 times, sir. You even bullied me. So don't do that.
Why would
please.
I bully
No, you have 3 times. Now, please. Let Namit Saxena
let
finish.
me complete.
Yes.
Yes. Rahul, now there are serious allegations of one, criminal trespass, because this event was for people of community A. Second, there are serious allegations of impersonation. Third, there are serious allegations of inciting or instigating communal hatred. So this is something which is to be investigated thoroughly. Now, before we go to the Constitution under Article 21 or 25 or 26, see, these are basic criminal principles which are to be applied. See, if there is criminal trespass by any community, by any citizen of this country also, that needs to be investigated. See, law is to be applied equally to everyone. Now, on the other hand, if you see, if violence has been put on, people who actually entered and they were thrown out of, this religious function, then law will take its own course against those vigilantes also. See, but we can't, at this stage, preempt the investigation. The investigation has to go against, equally all of them. If they have trespassed a private function, a religious function, they have to be prosecuted. If they have impersonated, they have to be prosecuted. If they have, incited some communal hatred, they have to be prosecuted. On the other hand, if there is some extrajudicial power put on them, that has to be investigated also.
That is to be investigated. That hasn't happened in certain states and in certain cities. The police has been extremely lax. We'll, of course, be following all that up. We will be. And there are no excuses, as I said, viewers, for anyone taking the law into their own hands. I think Mr. Sharda has said we need to be restrained. Rahul Easwar says we need to be restrained. Unfortunately, Mr. Nair got a bit carried away, but that's okay. Mr. Nair, I hope now you're cooler. You've realized perhaps that it's not right to advocate violence. And I hope at least you will agree in a civilized way that that is most important. Right? Even Mr. Saxena here, who represents the RSS in large number of cases, is saying we need to be restrained. Let's accept in the spirit of upholding the law that is a non-negotiable term. Now, I want to bring in Mr. Suhail. Mr. Suhail, this is a very important question I'm asking you. If temples can impose restrictions on entry, if churches can on dress codes, and other denominations, as I've told you, can impose restrictions, not on just entry, but dress codes and all other sort of means of ensuring that their places are not befouled, then why should Garba pandals be an exception? They're also an area where there is a certain amount of religion and other practices, rituals, etc. that are being observed.
Yeah, see, I want to say from when this right-wing radical organization start owning the Garba and the goddess Durga, I'm little surprised to see that. See, yeah, in Islam it's not allowed, but my question is that this for the boys who are there in the Garba, they went to do the idol worship or what? For what they have went there? They have went with the friends. See, the India is we have a different culture and diversity we have. A lot of people, they celebrate Ramzan, they celebrate Eid. We never stop anyone to enter in the mosque. See, it's a mixed culture we are living here in India. But now, see, this radical organization, they want to disturb the peace of India. See, it's a private affair, there should be a sign of it and there should be tickets. See, they sell the tickets, it's no free entry. They are not doing anything free. This Garba, where this event is organized, it's not for free. There should be clearly mentioned that it's a religious practice there, then there should be, and it's a private affair, then their right to restriction will be that it can be accepted. When it's in a public event, and see, if they are non-practicing people, they want to go with the friends and they want to sit over there, there's nothing wrong on it. We have a mixed culture, that's what I'm saying, but we should not make this cultural
if non-believers, okay, so there's nothing wrong in non-believers. Mr. Hassan, one second, Mr. Suhail, what you're saying is there's nothing wrong in non-believers going to a religious event. Okay, let's open that up also. That's an important point. He says a religious event, you may not believe in any of the religion, you may not believe in the puja, the goddess, etc., but you should be allowed to go. So let me ask you, Mr. Sohail, today, Mr. Hassan, who's a member of parliament from the Samajwadi Party, he said, why do Garba organizers make their daughters and sisters, why do they put them on a numesh? I hope you understand the meaning of that word. Numaish. Why do they put them on a numaish? So, do you first of all condemn this statement, Mr. Sohail?
I strongly condemn this shameful statement. I'm telling you now,
so if there is no place in Islam about this
kind of statements, you know.
Okay. So if it is a numaish, then why should non-believers go to see a numaish? That's a legitimate question that will be asked.
See, that's their personal thing. It's their personal. So that's what it's their personal school of thought. It's their wish and will. Nobody can stop anyone. They say it's not the religious country. It's neither. The country runs on constitution. It doesn't run on the Bible, Bhagavad Gita, or any other religious book.
Okay.
The constitution
so
is
Rahul Easwar, a non-believer, non-believer can enter.
And you know, even that's what say.
Okay. Non-believer can enter Garba festivities. They should be allowed. What's the big deal? Rahul Easwar, respond.
Rahul ShivShankar, there are two lines of thought in India generally. One, you know, even though who are not believers but who are respectful of all cultures can enter and assimilate well. That's a very good school of thought. I would totally endorse Tanveer ji. You know, when I come next to Bangalore, I would like to visit his mosque and I would like to know things that would be absolutely great. But second, there are some people who are very disrespectful. Nair ji, you know, point out at something very important. There is a person called Mujahideen Balusheri in Kerala who compared temple, and I'm sorry to say this, who compared temple to a brothel. So this is absolutely horrible. He said, don't even give money to temple, and he equated it, saying something very horrible, which I cannot repeat on national television. So there are people like that. I hope people like Suhail or Tanveer Bhai will really take care of those people, condemn them, so that Hindus will have a confidence. Otherwise, when we see on television saying that your temple is like this or your idols are like that, when somebody is saying so, and when a person from that community is coming, there will be natural suspicion.
Okay.
And I totally endorse, just one line, I totally endorse Tahsin ji's point of view, saying that Islam and Hinduism both inside also is very diverse. One of our greatest singers is Muhammad Rafi. The person who made us sing Vande Mataram again is Allah Raka Rahman. So let us project and highlight this healthy diversity, and let us discourage the hard.
So in the same spirit of diversity, Tahsin Poonawalla, if there are some people who say that, look, this is a religious celebration, and therefore we have the right to allow entry to those who believe in the deity, what is wrong?
That's fine, but
that's
then,
fine.
No,
that's
fine. Please allow me to speak. Now you asked me to. That's fine, but that entry. Can I please make my point?
60 seconds.
Can I just make my point? That's fine, but then that entry can not only exclude a religion. Then nobody but Hindus can be allowed.
Yeah, so they're saying.
Then you can't say a Christian will be allowed, a Parsi will be allowed, a Sikh will be allowed, but a Muslim will not be allowed.
But listen,
that is discrimination.
Hang on 1 second. There's no doubt about that. But just one very quickly.
Right.
So
now,
you agree that we should also not typecast. Let me finish. That we should also not. No, see that question about public and private, etc., has been addressed. Whether it is on private or public land, you have the right, if it's a religious function, to determine who comes in. Okay, so that's a settled in law. I'll give you also the precedents. Let me quickly cite them. Kerala High Court rejected third-party bid calling for the entry of KJ Yesudas into a temple. Okay. Then procedure of conducting rituals. Now it's very important. Procedure of conducting rituals. Who should be there? What should be observed, etc., is in the exclusive preserve of those that are conducting those rituals. This is what Supreme Court has said in Sarika versus this committee, Shri Mahakaleshwar Mandir Committee case in 2018. So that's all settled. I'm only asking you. It doesn't matter, sir. Let me finish. Okay. Devastham might hire a public stadium, for example, and it's known to happen. to conduct certain rituals, etc., etc. So they have absolute right. That's been settled. So let's not go around in circles. I'm only asking you, is it wrong, therefore, to typecast? And that's why I want to bring in Sriraj Nair also. If Mr. Nair's group believes, I'm not endorsing calls to violence here, but if Mr. Nair's group believes that, listen, in certain pandals that maybe we organize or we run, we will only admit those who believe in the deity or in the rituals or accept the sanctity of the puja and respect and participate in it. Why should we typecast them as this or that?
Okay. So let me make a personal example. So say Mr. Nair is running a pandal and I'm an atheist.
Yeah.
I respect the puja and the Devi. How will he know I do it or no? Does he have some sort of a Nobel Prize?
That's not the answer.
No, that's the answer.
No, I'm
only
this is a
call for vigilantism.
That's not. That is.
It cannot be
one second, sir. You are now talking. No, one second, please. Please.
Okay. You finished the answer.
Now you are talking about a different issue. You haven't answered my question. If supposing the VHP tomorrow says that in our pandals, Garba pandals, we are not going to open it out to any community
except Hindus.
Except for Hindus. Why should we say that they are some Taliban or hardliners? Simple question. They are only invoking that, and since we are invoking diversity, differences, etc., then they should be free also to do what they want to do.
Well, if they want only Hindus to come and they don't want any other religion, it's not a religion. That is completely their call and legally their call. I'm not disputing it.
Then you can't say that they are being Talibani.
Sir, allow me. You cannot. That's not victory. What you're seeing here is the spokespersons are saying that somebody came with fake government identity, yet no case has been registered, no complaint has been filed, except vigilantes,
that's a different debate, and we can have that debate about inaction.
That is where the debate has gone.
We can have that. No, it hasn't gone there. We stopped him, and he also backpedaled. But this business of typecasting people who want to invoke their religious beliefs to the last letter, viewers, is also wrong. Is also wrong. And that can't be accepted. Especially when there is no consensus. Of course, if there is consensus, as some people have said, in the matter of wearing hijab, for instance, choice, etc., then viewers, you can't invoke that in the Supreme Court. You can't say it should be left to our choice in the Supreme Court on the matter of hijab and other such religious particularities, but when it comes to Hindus, that doesn't apply to them. They should be opening up all their festivals, etc., etc., to just about anyone, whenever, because that is the spirit of tolerance. We can't have it both ways, viewers. I leave it at that. This is a complicated issue, as I began by saying, viewers, and it's been complicated by violence which no one endorses. Let's move on, because